Hello good folks and welcome back to Let's Play Pillars of Eternity. I'm your Game Master Darius. Last we left off, we were about to head into the North Ward, which is apparently supposed to be filled with some of the more questionable patients, as we're also looking for one called Dram. A willowy adolescent boy stands in the center of this cell, gawking and stoop-shouldered. He stares straight ahead, the occasional blink his only movement, and it is unclear whether he registers your presence at all behind his glassy doll-like eyes. In this state, the barrier between your soul and his are thin and porous, is easily bypassed if you should wish. Sure. Close your eyes and edge forward towards the boy's soul, and as you near, a sudden malaise comes over you. You are cold and warm all at once, sweating and shivering, straining for breath, as you did on the caravan journey. The soul you approach is the wrong one, a parasitic plant that strangles its host. It is predatory and pitiless, and you have crossed paths with it before. Too late does it occur to you to retract, and already you feel yourself plunging into some interminable abyss of thought and memory. You're standing in the cell now, the same cell in the sanitarium. The halls are moonless and empty. You are waiting. At the far end of the ward, the door opens, revealing a flesh golem in silhouette beneath the stone archway. It makes its usual rounds. The same stops every time, the misbegotten child of despondent creators. When the construct is closed, you coil yourself up and spring forward, passing out of the boy's body as though it were a membrane. You can sense his body behind you collapsing to the floor. A puppet whose strings are cut. You are rushing toward the golem now, bodiless as a gust of wind. Quickly you think to yourself, and you feel the strength hemorrhaging from your soul as you dart towards the makeshift abomination. You pass into the golem's shell and overtake the soul implanted within, encircling it, suppressing it, and containing it in this new vessel. You are strong again. You step heavy-footed down the corridors, unheeded by the other constructs and scrutinized only by the wary, untrustworthy eyes of the mad, going at last to an office piled with books and scribbled papers and perverse implements of animancy. You set your oversized hands upon a large machine, a desk of globes and tubes and coils in the center of the room, and go to work, bending wires and unsettling alignments. Your surroundings are pulled past you, or perhaps you are pulled past them, and they dissolve into a blur. When they settle into place again, you are outside on a clear day, standing in front of a crowd stacked high above you on a tiered sets of an amphitheater. You're acting for a crowd, standing deliberately still, but this is no play. A balding man with rodent-like features is strapping you to a machine, the one you had tampered with. You see your arms for the first time, short and fleshy, unmistakably those of a little girl, but this body is not truly yours. Your mind still holds the same determination, the same hard-heartedness as before. The body itself is cold and vacuous. Unlike the others, this one has no soul of its own. The man speaks and the crowd applauds with an enthusiasm worthy of a hero's entrance. "Bear witness," he says, as he pulls the lever. The machine shivers and sparks, and a bead of sweat rolls down the side of the man's brow, but the crowd's anticipation quickly gives way to awe as the crystal globe fills with a radiant mist that casts the entire theater aglow. He opens the valve, and the glow crawls through the tubes along a length of copper wiring that runs to a set of electrodes beneath your armpits. You feel nothing when it reaches you, as it should be, for you have been leading his work astray periodically for some time, altering notes and settings and playing puppeteer for Hollowborn, but you make it look how people would expect to look when a body is infused with a soul. In a moment the machine goes dark and the man unstraps you, eyeing you with scientist's concern. He looks back up at the crowd. "Behold!" he says, but there is obvious hesitation in his voice. Slowly you take a plodding step forward, then another and another. You look up at the man, giving him the eye contact of which no Hollowborn is capable, and the crowd gasps. The man looks relieved. "How do you feel?" he says at a volume meant for the crowd, and this is the moment. At the top of your lungs, you let out a piercing shriek. The man comes towards you, his hands outstretched, but you run the other way, back to the machine. With all your strength, you drive your head into the crystal globe, and it shatters, streaking your head with warm blood. You drive your head down into the surface of the machine again and again, drawing panicked screams from the crowd. By the time the man reaches you, your body has already ceased proper function and merely twitches on the cold ground. Satisfied, you depart the corpse in search for another unsuspecting host. Who could put their faith in animancy now? You are pulled again from your surroundings, transcending the boundaries of memories and lifetimes, deeper and deeper past betrayals and murders and lies upon lies that form the thick webbing of plots beyond mortal comprehension. You settle at last on a room you have seen before, expansive, with a tall device encasing an adrid monolith at its center. The room is filled with people, and the people all look at the device. Excuse me. You are yanked suddenly back to reality, and the once catatonic boy in the cell is looking directly at you, appraising, calculating. There is no mistaking now that it is the soul of the man who caused your awakening that gazes out from the borrowed husk. A watcher. I don't necessarily want to undo being a watcher. I believe we share a common past. I'm just looking for some answers. Is that so? Makes no effort to hide his disinterest, but he continues to search your eyes. He makes a slight grunting noise, and his eyes soften for an instant, and it seems, for that moment, that he recognizes you. He opens his mouth to speak, then seems to think better of what he was about to say. His jaw tightens. I know your look. You hunger for answers that elude you. It gnaws at your soul. It usurps your reason for being. You are like everyone. I will help you let go. He dodges backwards with a startling grace, putting himself out of reach. On his face there is no malice, only the dispassion of a farmer putting down a sick animal. Then suddenly he slumps forward. Ah, shit. Well, so much for Graham. I mean, it's kind of funny seeing all the patients having slipped on the ground there. Well, that happened. And we got basically no answers out of that. I'm sure this was fine. Hello? Ah, shit. Nope. Lads is over here. Pull him away from the door.
Show him how it's done!
I think things are going awry in the, at least not as planned. Alright then. Bucket reeks of offal, of course. Chains grown with added weight, crescent bite marks bit the edges of the cot. He just had a prayer against fear on him. The ones in here aren't turning violent, are they? Someone has. Ah. We've all turned into soulless undead. Ever so lovely.
I'll teach you a lesson.
Dead on.
Probably should talk to the doc about this. Assuming he hasn't been ripped asunder by flesh golems. Hey doc, about one of your patients. What have you done? I don't have time for this. Okay, so if I'm going to guess, I'm going to guess that the... God damn it.
My mind feels sharp as steel.
Show them how it's done.
I mean, I'm glad that those ones are relatively easy to kill. Another witch. Yep. Another witch and another golem. Okay, but yeah, so person that's been that was there when we had transformed into being a washer. That was the one that was in the patient, and then now he's kind of... hello.
Hey there.
Ah, vessel flesh. And now it's all just kind of bad news bears because he decided that he was going to take control of all the people that had the experimentations put on him. No.
I'll have this open in no time.
North War. Oh, God. Ptaxa, the Pale Lady. Subject is female, mid-40s, awakened to a past life as a serial murderer, which now frequently emerges as the soul's dominant personality. Subject facilitates being between violence and severe depression resulting from a guilt of past deeds. Weak candidate for present research. Graham. Subject is male, approximately early 30s, powers of speech absent, presumably as a result of the overfragmentation of his soul. As such, he is the ideal subject for present research. However, experimentation has caused severe pain and induced panic, and I have had to enlist the aid of the guards in transporting him to more recent procedures. Idleman, the Midnight Man. Subject is male, mid-20s, displays acute disassociation and paranoid delusional tendencies, causing anger and extreme violence. Dangers of working with the subject preclude possibility of further use in present research. Uskgrim. Subject is a male, approximately 17 years of age, admitted for episodes of catatonia, followed by occasional violent outbursts. Initial analysis of soul revealed severe fragmentation and essence deficiency. Said deficiency all but eliminates the possibility of utilizing the subject in present research. Note from Azo. Ripley, I require more copper tubing for my next experiment. Do not requisition it from the sanitarium stores. I don't have the time to deal with the head warden's inevitable questions. This is what happens when you don't do things above the board. Seriously. Hi. Something else you need? Oh, you know. Maybe a little bit of aid in dealing with all the head warden must be told what's going on down here. I'm working on that. That patient has the right idea. Book it toward the exit. Everything all right up here? What in the blazes happened down there? You were given permission to ask questions. It's complicated. Actually, wait. Things under control until I killed the spy. I didn't even try to kill the spy. I was just trying to talk to him. Okay, so the guy from the Letting Key had possessed the 17-year-old Uskrum and kept on leading him astray, taking control of the flesh golem to adjust the experiments so as they didn't work. That's always fun. Sorry, things are making noises. Azo was being influenced by a patient, but that patient really wasn't himself at the time. To finish our explanation, and Ethelmore breaks his silence. I have read accounts of people in history who could do that, what you describe. The accounts are few and brief and never reliable. Some go as far as to suggest that they are all the same person. If truly such a person was here among us, plotting our ruin, would that I had a body again and could be of some real use in our time of need. I fear that the future may hold what the future may hold for this place. I'm grateful you were able to dispatch the threat before there was loss of innocent life. I mean, you did lose quite a few patients. I very nearly had another scandal on our hands. What of Azo? What part did his experiments play in this? I mean, honestly, if I hadn't come along, Azo's experience would have eventually resulted in another scandal. At the worst possible time. Say no more. Kidman Azo is no longer welcome at this facility. Yeah, screw you, Azo. You asshole. Anything new to say? No? Really quickly, I want to poke down here, see whether or not Azo is still in his office. Ripley probably isn't. Hi, Azo. It'll be sometime before things calm down here. It'll be sometime before you should be here. You've been fired and terminated. Alright, probably had a few updates on that. Yeah, I probably should have seen if I couldn't do anything with the other doors. But oh well. Uncovered the operative in the sanitarium has the ability to possess those with weak souls. Was using one of the patients to influence Cadman Adso's animancy research. Give me a second. Right, sorry about that. Back into this fray. Always did find it funny when games were like, okay, we'll continue playing the screaming tracks despite the fact that all the calamity has died down. Because that's always great. Bum 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 bum. Alright, so I did all that.
How do you do?
All right. Summoned by Lady Webb, a reclusive woman who seems to know more about me than I know about her. Do I care? I'm pondering if I care. It's part of the main quest, sadly, it seems like. Raymont, Copper Lane. Oh, hi. As you near the apparition, you are overcome suddenly by a powerful anxiety that sits like a stone in your stomach. The feeling is not quite real, the recollection of an emotion rather than the emotion itself. It wrenches your insides nevertheless. The apparition's brow is tinged, a look of concern plain across his face.
The other missionaries say you have been neglectful of your duties.
My mind has been elsewhere.
Oh? And what troubles you?
The pain in your stomach deepens, and you feel for a moment as though you are about to be sick. Your mouth has gone dry. Forgive me, Eminence, I wish to leave the order. Holds his fingers together and presses them to his mouth, thoughtful.
You have been an apt student, and your convictions have inspired those around you. May I ask what has changed to make you feel this way?
I feel confused. I will not lie. Because this is quite clear that the man, all glowy and shiny as he is, that has made it so as my life is now kind of somewhat a living hell. I guess I'm just lying at this point to the guy? The people we intended to convert, they committed unspeakable acts, sacrifices, mutilations. The apparition exhales slowly and its lips press together, a sympathetic rapport in its eyes. It places its hand on your shoulder.
These are the ways of the heathen world.
Surely the gods would do better to destroy us all and start anew.
Perhaps they would. It may come to that one day. This is why we must not fail. The heathens are beyond the gods' reach. They do not know better. We are tasked with delivering them to the gods, so that the gods may heal their souls.
And is such a thing possible?
I have seen it with my own eyes. You will see it too, if you choose to remain. There is no greater calling than the one we have chosen. Neither words, nor wealth, nor battle will end this suffering. Only the gods. Will you give them that chance?
The knot in your stomach seems to loosen all at once, and the anxiety is replaced with something else entirely. Something warm and soothing, and it is something you know you can never repay. As the vision fades, you start to become cognizant of the many odd looks aimed in your direction. Your last response echoes in your mind. I will. Ah.
Hey there.
Were we talking as though our former life self or something?
Sure.
Gods keep you.
Excuse me, but I've been looking for you. You're the one who lifted the curse on Heritage Hill. My lady, who wishes to remain anonymous, has entrusted me with bringing you this pistol. It belonged to a dear friend of hers who was lost to the curse. For your part in reclaiming Heritage Hill, my lady wishes you to have it. Here, may it serve you well in battle. Thanks. You're quite welcome. St. Godarm's Spark. I must be off. Farewell. Nyum. Now I have to look at it. Not that I'm going to use it. Two-handed pistol. Okay. Veil piercing. Pretty good damage. Set accuracy granted to an ally attacking the same target. Shock damage. Bypasses DR. -0.3 crit damage multiplier. Alright. Saint Gram was a priest of Hylia, known for his mastery of the art of wordplay. It is said that he could shape the mood of a crowd with a single word, and find with cruel precision the most shocking turn of phrase to which to dismantle an opponent. One more whimsical daughter of the Direwood had this pistol crafted in his honor. For the gun, too, she said, could put an end to any debate. I mean, neat. Probably is not going to see much use. I will not lie. Alright, Lady Webb, you already sound like a person that needs a sword to the face. If I'm to be honest.
Good day, stranger.
Busy with the mountain scrolls. Is she upstairs, I take it then? I am at... Yeah, and summon to Hadrit. I got a feeling this is going to be a long conversation. Usually when it's a named PC, it's a long one. Lady Webb will see you now. Alright. Well, at least they're having it so as I can actually walk up to her and talk, as opposed to somewhere it's like, hey, immediate conversation. This woman clutches a thick stack of parchment with spindly, wrinkled fingers, their flesh stretched thin to near translucence with extreme age, a gossamer veil over pale blue veins. Ink splotches and candle burns dot and stripe her hands like a quilt patterned after some great indescribable truth. She does not look up from her reading.
So, the messenger conveyed my summons. A miracle that would make the reincarnation of Aethys look like a child's cantrip, surely. It doesn't draw the most inspired minds, messaging. They failed me so many times of late, I nearly sent a cipher after you instead. So this is the Watcher who took over Cad Noir. Oh, don't look so surprised. It isn't an attractive expression. I wouldn't be where I am for long if I let details like that escape me.
This is exactly what I would picture Alloth's mother to be like.
Since then, as I understand it, you entered a quarantine district that is absolutely off limits to all civilians and somehow managed to walk back out with your life. What could possibly have been on your mind to make you do such a thing?
I'm investigating a strange group.
Strange does not begin to describe them. The practices of the Leaden Key defy all reason. You're not the only one with an interest in their recent activities. I've lost 4 ciphers this year alone trying to get someone inside their ranks. As it is, we only have our suspicions about who is in the group and what they intend, which I suppose means we have much in common with them. I asked you here because I wanted to know what your interest was in all of this. I thought perhaps we might help each other. Why are you looking for the Leaden Key?
One of their members caused my soul to awaken. I need him to reverse it. She closes her eyes and the lids flicker. Then her face goes still and her mouth parts, little more than a sliver, and her hand briefly drops open, spilling some of her parchment to the ground. The pages wafting around her legs like the leaves of a dying tree. Her fleshy eyelids peek back and her gaze is immediately upon you.
The gods are cruel, I'm afraid. The man you seek is Thaos Ix Arcanon, Grand Master of the Leaden Key. One of the most elusive and dangerous men Eora has ever known.
How do you know I seek Thaos?
Because you have seen his face, and that makes it a simple matter for me to see it. You even happened to catch him in his ceremonial garb, it seems. Must have been a special occasion.
And what else can you tell me about Thaos?
More than most, though very few would know so much as his name. And there is no way of knowing how much of what I've read is true. The Leaden Key dates back more than 2,000 years. If rumors are to be believed, Thaos was the one who created it. What scraps of evidence exist suggests that he has died many times, only to be reborn each time exactly the same man, awakened during adolescence with all the knowledge and experience of all his lifetimes. The plots he orchestrates sometimes take hundreds of years to bear fruit. Needless to say, this is not the natural order of things. But he is said to be one of Whitaker's favored, and that old bat was never one to let rules get in the way of favoritism. That may also explain another supposed gift of his. His body is no boundary to his soul, and he is known to take possession of others, if their souls are weak enough. Often it is for elaborate deceptions, but sometimes he simply forces them to kill themselves. He is not known for his generous supply of pity. He is also not one to show himself in any but their most critical matters. If he has directly involved himself in whatever the group plots now, it may be your only chance to find him. And once you do find him, if you can find him, I would not hold my hopes too high if I were you. He is a driven, single-minded man. He will not have the slightest concern for your problems.
How do you know so much about Thaos?
The same way I come by all my knowledge. Exhaustive research, spying, bribery, perhaps some less savory measures. Whatever the knowledge demands, I pay in full. There is nothing of greater value. Unfortunately, with Thaos, there is also nothing more scarce. He has covered his tracks far too well. His manipulations of the course of history are lost to time now, though I believe they were many.
What else is there to know about the Leaden Key?
Precious little, I'm afraid. You may know much of it already. No one member knows the identity of more than a handful of other members. They are kept in the dark of missions they are not involved in, or sometimes of those they are involved in. They exist to hide secrets they themselves don't know, if you can imagine how gullible someone must be for that to appeal. Despite that, they are very good at what they do, owing much to their founder, who will take matters into his own hands when necessary, and he does not fail.
So what do you want from me?
Keep me informed. The Leaden Key has been busy lately, and that is distressing news. I can only guess as to what they intend. You seem to have a knack for turning the stones they've crawled beneath. Keep turning them. Dunreed Row will not stop you. Whatever it is they're up to, figuring it out will be of great use to both of us. In your case, it will surely point you to Thaos. In return, I will share our knowledge with you as we learn it, and provide you with what assistance I can.
Very well.
If you find your trail has run cold, come to me with whatever you have. There is much I may be able to do for you.
There is something I can tell you about the Leaden Key's operation.
Well, let's hear it.
The key is manipulating a group of Iguithan machines that span the country, and it seems to be causing the Hollowborn epidemic.
I had feared they might be involved in Widewind's legacy. It seemed too extreme even for them. How naive I've been. If we can learn more about their goals and methods, perhaps we can get the palace behind us. With Avar's support, we may be able to put a stop to this.
The Iguithan Tower in Heritage Hill contains an ancient machine that can control the flow of souls. The Leaden Key activated it.
This is troubling. That civilization seems to have known more about the mechanics of souls than anyone since. The Leaden Key was born in that period. It may be that Thaos has full knowledge of their technology. the applications of this machine you speak of. I don't want to think about it. That isn't enough to take to the Duke, but we're close. Avar Wolfgren is a cautious man. He will want to know everything possible before being moved to action.
I found him in the sanitarium impersonating a patient. Just trying to damage the public's opinion of animancy.
Forgive me. It is unlike Thaos to leave witnesses. He must be furious. He did not aid you as you'd hoped, I take it? Well, take heart. With any luck, when he has finished his business, he will surely come and find you again, if only to kill you while you sleep. This news of yours makes sense, of course. To dabble in animancy is to puzzle over the secrets of the gods. This would not be the Leaden Key's first action against it. But if this is connected to their other activities, we may be in for something on a much larger scale. The Leaden Key's conspiracy is clear now. They have used Engwithan technology to engineer Widewind's legacy, and they want people to blame animancy for it. As we speak, the Duke is holding hearings in the palace. He is listening to arguments for and against animancy. When they finish, he is expected to decide whether to outlaw it. It seems the Leaden Key has been pushing Deerwood down this path for some time. I, for one, would enjoy seeing their little scheme fouled up at the last moment. Our Duke must hear what you have to say. Unfortunately, the hearings are closed to the public, which makes the Duke inaccessible until they are completed. However, certain groups have been invited to attend. You might get in with one of them if you aren't above a little pandering. There are delegations from the Knights of the Crucible, the Dozens, and from House Dominel. If you can gain the support of one of those groups, that may be your best way in. See what you can arrange.
I have other questions.
Yes?
Oh boy. Are you psychic?
If you are hoping I can look at your hand and tell you whom you should marry, you can just wipe that notion from your mind. I do not know what will happen tomorrow. That is what I pay spies for. Being a cipher is not unlike being a watcher. You notice more about what is already there. Many can hold an object and know where it's been, or peer into the thoughts of people around them. They can also sometimes affect those thoughts, but that would be unethical, of course. A tiny, talented few pick up so much about the world around them, they can get images of things to come, but these are fleeting and unreliable.
You said you don't know what will happen tomorrow.
Who said I was talented? I don't. Least not that I can trust. And with me, it's only ever about one thing anyway.
And what's that?
A quiet day at home.
You know, relatable. How old are you? You wicked man, where are your manners? Were you raised without a shred of decency?
I lost count ages ago. Such a strange thing to celebrate, getting closer to death. Oh, I've had my share of work done to prolong my existence, if that's what you're wondering. I'm not ashamed of it. I'm not done here. There are things I still wish to learn. And I'll be the effigy if I let Bereth carry me off before I'm through. There was a time when I considered enlisting the theorems of Pondgrum to extend my life indefinitely. I found the thought of devouring my political enemies to sustain my own life greatly appealing. I must have gone soft with age.
How did you come to be here?
Me? I started this place, in a different time, under a different Duke. I impressed the Duke with my research and my work ethic, and he became possessed of the notion that I would be ideal to lead a secret network of gifted investigators. I don't know how such an idea got into his head.
Tell me about Dunrid Row.
All the things there are to know in this world, and you ask me about work. Deerwood is a rebel country. Conflict is in its blood. If you think a few guards posted in our cities keep chaos at bay, you are very new to town indeed. We are Deerwood's cipher investigators, of course. But what we really are is its last barrier against anarchy. People are more at ease when they believe they are watched over by someone more enlightened than they are. It pacifies them. So that is the image we foster. And we do try to be enlightened for their sake. The knowledge we gather here is Deerwood's standing army in many ways. We learn what's vital and we act on it while Deerwood sleeps, blissfully unaware of the terrifying truths all around them. I wish I could tell people the things I know sometimes, but the truth is I don't think many of them could bear it.
Is there a Lord Webb?
There was.
What happened to him?
He believed in dying with dignity. He was old-fashioned that way, my husband. We saw the world very differently, he and I. But he was good to me while he lasted.
Aw.
Yes?
Get invited to join one of the animacy hearings. Good lord, that was a lot. Oh god, there's a quest. Wards, like 130. Hold up. Yes. Okay. Allow me to do something theoretically stupid for a second. See.
Let's keep quiet.
Where's her back? Whole reason I bothered with that was to see whether or not I could steal what's in there. For reasons. Reasons being greed. I could have sworn I had a potion or something of invisibility. Those are consumables, yes. Maybe I'm derping and I had no such potion. Yeah, I probably had no such potion in the first place. Region. Ah. Guess I'll live without whatever is in that cupboard. So I'm gonna guess I have the... I would have the dozen behind me if I were to use the dozen to get in there. That said, I'm going to go ahead and call an episode here. When we return, we're either floundering around doing literally anything else, or we are trying to continue with the plot. Maybe plot might be a thing we'd do for the foreseeable future. Side quests like Lavender and Lie notwithstanding. Thank you everyone so very much for watching. I hope you're all enjoying this series as much as I'm enjoying playing it, and as always I hope to see you all in the next video. Take care. Cheers.